My background's on the AI side. I started my career in the AI for video space. And I think about 5 years ago, when I was looking at interesting problems to solve from AI perspectives, like things that actually really impact how people work, legal contracts actually came very much at the forefront because of the enormous amounts of text, enormous amounts of review cycles that people use to actually review contracts, collaborate on contracts, negotiate on contracts. It's an enormous amount of effort that's actually being expended. And artificial intelligence, as well, especially related to text, is actually a perfect application for how to actually kind of revolutionize how people actually kind of review legal contracts and the value associated with that. So yes. There's a lot of challenges in the legal tech space. I mean, I think that the technology adoption cycle is quite complex. I think that a lot of the industry solutions that actually have been sold already have kind of tend to overpromise and then underdeliver. And so I think there's a natural skepticism, especially among attorneys, about the effectiveness of different tools in the industry. So part of our approach at My Legal Einstein is just to get it to the point where we can adopt technology and somebody can actually subscribe to technology and get to a point of value very quickly. The way that artificial intelligence works, and I think it's actually a pretty extensive area, is that we build models based on very complex neural interpretations of language. Okay, so when you're talking about rules, it's usually that you have simple rules where people say if this amount is higher than 10,000, then do this, and that's actually kind of a foundation for things like simple workflow models. Artificial intelligence is really about trying to figure out how likely something is of a certain type. So, as an example, the application of artificial intelligence for legal contracts is tell me all of the clauses in your contract that are related to termination. Tell me all the sentences that are related to termination. And those are types of questions that is perfect for artificial intelligence because of the way that computers work. Computers can actually do massive scans of data, can actually pick out different types of information, can pick out different types of sentence fragments, and all very, very quickly. Right? And that's kind of why it is really kind of starting to revolutionize how people actually review contracts. Technology is the foundation of practically everything we do at My Legal Einstein. We're leveraging the latest in terms of AI algorithms. We are leveraging the latest technologies in terms of cloud infrastructures so that people can actually instantly build up their environment, turn on subscription, and actually be quickly effective, probably within the first hour using legal AI, which is actually a very difficult topic, right? But at the same time, we're actually trying to make it as accessible as possible to attorneys. I think that it's fair to say that the attorneys that we actually engage with don't understand artificial intelligence, right? Which is where our competencies are. And then we actually don't understand some of the legal review processes. But by talking and by experimenting and by providing examples, by providing prototypes, we can actually have working discussions about how things can be done. So the engineers that we actually have can explain what is possible. And the attorneys would actually keep talking about what they would want to do and what the things that they actually want to accomplish would be. So by doing that, you actually have a lot of type of interchange communications about what can actually be built and what actually is effective to build. Effective in terms of basically something that's useful for the end user. So. The startup journey is very individual, right? I think that most people kind of tend to glamorize what it takes to actually be an entrepreneur. And as a result, I'm located in Silicon Valley. I mean, there's lots of founders, lots of enthusiasts about founding companies here. But the reality is that you have to manage very limited resources to get to the point of a effective product market fit. And that's actually a very challenging problem because you can't do everything, right? It's just not possible to actually be to be able to do everything at the same time. So you have to prioritize things and at the same time be able to establish your place in the market and establish a very clear reason why customers would actually be using your solution. And that's actually a very, very big challenge. So the thing that I would tell competitors is, I think that we should encourage people to actually be effective legal tech entrepreneurs in the space. I think it's absolutely critical for us to kind of continue to invest in technology, continue to invest in different ways that technology can actually help attorneys actually address a lot of their problems. Because we're still starting at the very beginning of how things like legal contracts, regulations, everything else associated is actually starting to get digitized en masse. So you see an enormous amount of activity associated with kind of digital transformation of the legal review process, and really just kind of to be able to support the business operations as well as to kind of reduce trade barriers.